She achieved the American dream and then did the unthinkable. She walked away from it. Rain Miraglio sold everything in under 60 days to leave employee life behind, move to the Dominican Republic, and build her own path as an independent accountant.
You just have to be proud of where you come from.
You gave up the American dream.
It was honestly just a hunch.
Change is not easy.
She said, no Sabo kids here.
It's a big transition. Wow. So you just packed it all up and was like, just like that?
Yep.
Wow. So what was it? Did you just...
It was honestly just a hunch. My husband and I had been thinking about moving for a little bit, especially because of the whole COVID thing, being stuck in the house. And so one random day we were sitting in the office and he turns, he's like, you want to move? Sure, where are we moving? Let's go to DR. Let's pack, let's go.
So it was his idea to go to the DR.
We both had the idea, but because I'm a Dominican, I didn't want to come to him and say, let's move there, because I didn't want him to feel like, I just want to move there because that's where I'm from. Mm-hmm. So it was always in the back of my head, but since it was his idea at the time, I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this, let's go.
Okay, yeah, it was like, take advantage of the opportunity. It's like, bought the ticket, so that's why he was like, well, honey, let's move. And then it was like, psh.
It just honestly, it feels like it just happened.
Yeah. Well, 60 days is fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like today, tomorrow, because time really flies. So you're originally Dominican. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell us a little bit, like, where you from, who your mom and them.
So I was born in Santiago. My mom was actually already in the States when she was pregnant with me, and she flew here when she was 8.5 months pregnant. She lied to the stewardess and said, oh, I'm having twins. I'm only like 5 months. Because I had siblings here in Santiago. And so she said, well, they're either all American or they're all Dominican. And she wanted them all to be Dominican. So she came, gave birth. The minute I could get a passport picture, I got a passport picture. She did all the paperwork, and I left at 2 months old.
Wow. That's so interesting, because sometimes it goes the opposite way. Like for me, I've been here for 20 years now, and my children are 10 and 12. They were both born in the States. So I went to the States, gave birth, and then the moment that I could get them a passport, we were coming back. So it's so interesting to see the story in reverse. But I had actually planned to have them here, and my daughter had a little situation with her. So my son, for the same reason, I was like, well, they're going to be the same. So I did that with my daughter. I'm going to do that with my son.
That makes
sense. So you were born here, but you grew up in the States.
Yes, I grew up in New York.
And you speak Spanish, you have the Dominican culture.
I do. So one thing that my mom always said was she didn't want to raise a Latina that didn't know Spanish.
Oh.
So she said, no Sabo kids here. So we only spoke Spanish at home.
I love that.
Yeah, we only spoke Spanish at home. And until we all got older and kind of got out of school, then she's like, okay, now we can do Spanglish. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
But she wanted to make sure that we stuck to our roots, and she was a very traditional Dominican parent. So, you had the bandera for lunch, and you had your mangú for breakfast, and it was everything very Dominicanized.
Mm-hmm. And what was her thoughts around that, living in the United States, but really wanting the Dominican culture? I see many people who, back in the day, the parents didn't want the kids to have an accent, and they really wanted them assimilating to America. What was her thought process?
As long as we could speak both languages, she said, I'll accept you however you are. You just have to be proud of where you come from.
Nice.
And so, but now she kind of stepped back a little bit because she's got an accent, because she learned English with us. And so she kind of doesn't like speaking English too much to non-Spanish speakers, but I've taught her to say, if someone says something about your accent, what you say is, I know 2 languages. How about you?
That's a good answer. For me, what I tell them is, we can speak in English. And normally the Spanish-speaking people are like, no, we're good. But I speak Dominican, though.
I love that.
Yeah, I do. And so you've moved back recently. Talk a little bit about the decision, because you're in Punta Cana now, but your family and your roots are from Santiago. Mm-hmm. Why Punta Cana?
Because if I wanted to be in a city, I would have moved back to New York. I wanted more of a laid back, lifestyle. I want to be able to go to the beach. I love the beach. My husband loves the beach. And we just kind of want to just sit back and relax when we're not working. And so if I would have gone back to Santiago, I was going to be in a city, somewhat the city environment, and I just didn't want that anymore. I've done enough being in the city and enjoying my 20s where I'm like, now that I'm in my late 30s, I just want to sit back, relax if I want to with a pina colada next to my pool and just hang out. And I feel like...
And is that what you have?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like being here in Punta Cana gives me the best of both worlds. It's kind of more, it's very laid back, but it's still very busy enough where if I want that city vibe, I can go to downtown Punta Cana and it's, oh, look, there's a lot of traffic and there's craziness going on. But if I just want to sit back and relax, I'll just stay in Vista Cana and hang out. So it gives me the best of both worlds. And that way it also gives my mom a break when she's in the country. She has a place in Santiago where I'm like, you could just come here, put your feet up and relax, not have to worry about traffic and any of that.
Okay.
Just enjoy
Has
life.
she been here since you've moved here?
Yeah.
Okay. So
She loved Vista Cana. She loved the area. At first she was nervous. She's like, well, you don't know anything about DR. You don't know anything about Punta Cana. I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you speak Spanish. She prepared you, so that's fine. And your husband, he speaks
food.
food. I like that. But he'll start learning as well, I'm
I
sure.
mean, he knows a couple phrases that I've taught him.
Cerveza, baño.
Yeah, he knows like your very basics of close the door, turn the lights off, bring
Okay.
me water, or do you want lunch, do you want breakfast, stuff like that. But when I start speaking to him in Spanish, he's like, hold on, slow down, you're going too fast.
Yeah.
Or I know every other 15th word you just said.
Yeah, exactly. That you say in like 3 seconds, right? Because
We speak
it's so
fast.
fast. I know. That's nice. So you chose Vista Cana. Are you buying, renting? What was that thought process?
So right now we are renting only because we weren't sure if we wanted to stay in Punta or even Vista Cana. So we said, let's be smart. Let's rent for a period of time while we kind of travel the country and decide where do we really want to be. But after being in Vista Cana now for 7 months, we're like, yeah, this is where we're going to be.
Okay.
Because
So you like it?
Oh yeah, I love the community feel that there is in Vista Cana. You're constantly hearing kids outside playing. There's always, a neighbor having a party and you're just hearing it. It just feels very like homey to me. And I love all the amenities that we didn't have when we were in Texas.
Yeah. Amenities such as?
So Vista Cana has the man-made lagoon that they call the beach, and now they're building another one that's going to be twice the size. They've got all the little restaurants. They've got a beach bar. We've got plenty of pools. They just opened a Sirena right in front.
Which is a grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to not feel like I have to leave Vista Cana to do everything I want to do. Like 2 to 3 times a week, we're like, oh, let's go out for dinner. No, we'll just go right here to one of the ones by the beach. We're not going to drive out.
So it's convenient with a lot of amenities.
It's convenient, a lot of amenities. It feels very homey. It's quiet, but if you want to hear people outside, just open your door. You'll see kids playing. You'll hear your neighbor having a party. You'll see people washing their cars and stuff. So it still gives me that DR feel, but gives me the U.S. amenities that we're both accustomed to. So it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's very nice. So you gave up the American dream. Talk a little bit about that.
So as an immigrant and the child of an immigrant, especially a single mom, for her, the American dream was, you got to buy your own home. And, you think of the white picket fence with, a vehicle and all that. So we were, I guess, lucky enough to be able to buy 2 brand new cars. We paid them off. We built a custom home in Texas. We furnished it exactly how we wanted. We did upgrades. We would travel and all that. And so whenever we started telling people, oh, we're going to move, we're going to sell the house, it's going to go on the market, we're going to move, why would you do that? You just achieved the American dream before your 30s. Why would you do that? And I'm like, why not? So, especially my mom. For my mom, it was hard, just because she's like, you achieved what I would have wanted to, but you did it at a much younger age by yourself. Why would you do it? And I'm like, why not go back home? And then my husband, being from two parents who had him at a very early age, they weren't able to purchase a home either until they were older. So for them, it was the same thing where they're telling him like, well,
They're like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You have a home, you have cars, you have arrived.
Exactly.
And you were like,
we were like, yeah, but we could do it there too.
yeah, exactly. That's true. So you made the decision to sell the house, sell the cars, pick up, pack up, and move. What really was that motivation? Because if you're sitting there with the house and the cars and the picket fence and everything all established, why?
Just a different in pace, to be honest. I feel like in the States, it's more of you're constantly working and you never take the time to relax and enjoy your family members, your neighbors, your friends, and your loved ones. Where here, it's more of, yeah, I can work, but the minute I'm off, I take care of my dogs, I do what I need to, and we're constantly outside. Oh, we're going to go to dinner with this friend, or we're going to go hang out with that person or that person. In addition to that, we were in our home for 8 years and we only knew one of our neighbors. We're here, we've been here for 7 months and we are never home. We're constantly out going to dinner with someone or getting invited to events or doing something else. So for us, it was more of a change of pace of life, and being landlocked in Texas, just for me as an islander, I just felt weird. I felt like I needed to be near the ocean, and every vacation we went to was, oh, we got to go on a cruise or somewhere that they have a beautiful beach. So I'm like, why don't we just move to the beach?
So you consider yourself an islander, but you left at 2 months. So it's in your blood, it's in your roots. And you talk about the social aspect. That wasn't possible in Texas?
It was, but all of our friends were so wrapped up in their careers and what they're doing, and they've got kids, and the kids have basketball or baseball or volleyball or this or that. Everyone's so busy in their own lives and trying to achieve whatever they're trying to achieve, where trying to fit everyone's schedules into a box so everyone can meet is very difficult, because everyone, like I said, is so wrapped up in work, where I feel like in the States you live to work, where here you work to live. And that's what I wanted more. I didn't want to be just working 18-hour days, get off of work, get in the kitchen, cook, clean, go to bed, do it again tomorrow, and do it again the day after. We're here, we've got more freedom to, yes, I do work a long day and I still, have goals that I want to meet for my career and financially, but we still make the time to hang out with friends and, go to the beach and try different places. And, oh, look, somebody told me about this little hole in the wall. Let's go visit there. Let's go see what that's about.
You're talking about your social life. You're talking about community. You're talking about things to do more so in Punta Cana than in Texas, like the biggest state in all of the United States, where you felt isolated, where coming to like little old Punta Cana, you have so much more. What I hear you saying is to me, it makes me think of the culture. Like that is the culture that we find here in Punta Cana. However, I don't imagine that all of your friends are Dominican.
No.
Okay. So like-minded people, maybe, who all find ourselves here, and there's something that makes us feel very connected here. It's not only about the people, let's say. It has something to do about where we are too, that I believe facilitates that.
I would agree, and that's something that my husband and I say all the time, is there's so many expats with the same mentality of, yeah, it's being back home is great, but we just want something different. And everyone is still, trying to achieve financial goals and personal goals, but it's also taking time to take care of themselves and, go explore and find new things and do all that and have a social life, where a lot of us don't have the time to do that back home.
Right. Or don't take the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that is just not a part of the American culture.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. Because you might come here and get to know somebody who actually lives on your street or down the street from you. But here is an environment that facilitates kindness and I think being more open, maybe even being a little bit more vulnerable, because I think sometimes in the States we have to feel like we shouldn't really talk to people or be friendly.
It's part of our culture to just be friendly and outgoing. So that was one thing that like I struggled with when I moved down south. Was I had a lot of my New York mentality, but still my DR culture. So a lot of people were thrown off by how I was, and I'm like, I'm going to have to adapt to this Southern hospitality that I don't think exists. Because when I think of Southern hospitality, I think it would be similar to Dominican culture, where you're friendly, you're outgoing, good morning, good afternoon, let me hold the door open for you, can I help you? Where that's not the case at all.
Okay. So is there a Southern hospitality, or what is the difference that you saw from New York to Texas?
It's a huge difference. I mean, in New York, very fast-paced lifestyle, where you're lucky if the person in front of you holds the door open for you. In Texas, yes, you may get someone to open the door for you, but you say thank you, you're welcome, there's no response. And it's like, as a New Yorker, if I would say thank you and you didn't respond, I'd be like, you're welcome, to myself.
Okay.
So you knew
right.
that I acknowledge that you're being rude.
Okay.
Without being rude back to you. There are Southern hospitality, but I see that more with like your older generations, where like the newer generations, I feel like they're adapting because there's so many more like Californians and New Yorkers moving down to Texas, where they're kind of changing and adapting to that New York lifestyle, where they're not saying good morning or thank you or doing that Southern hospitality that you hear so much about.
Very, very interesting. And how many years did you live in Texas?
I was in Texas for 14 years.
14 years. So really, that's a good amount of time. And then obviously your childhood in New York. Okay. And now Punta Cana.
Yep.
Okay. So you mentioned financial a couple of times. You've mentioned that. Talk a little bit about that and how you worked that transition, what you were doing before, what you're doing now.
So before, I was an employee for a company based out of Germany, and I'm an accountant, and I worked in their commissions department. And so I told them, I said, hey, I have to go to Punta Cana for a period of time. I'm just going to work out of there. I'll still keep my same hours. I'll do all the same tasks. Nothing will change except for my location. And they were like, yeah, sure. Who cares? We give you 6 months. Okay. I knew I wasn't going back. But they didn't.
You were like, I have to go.
But they didn't know that I was going to stay. And so in August, I started the conversation. I said, hey, so yeah, I'm not going back. Just so y'all know, I'm not going back. Okay, well, we need to figure out how that works. And so it took a lot of back and forth, and we just ended up deciding. They said, okay, why don't you just transition from a W-2 employee to a freelancer? So we just hire you for your services. However many hours you do, we'll pay you. You can make your own hours. We don't care where you work from. We don't care what you do. You just give up all employee benefits. And I'm like, sounds good to me.
Wow. So you're working for the same company under a different status, and it works.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
And it gave me a huge raise, so.
Imagine that. It's like, yeah, I'll give up the benefits. Just pay me more money, and I'm happier and better.
Yeah, I mean, I can find my own retirement fund. I could do my own IRA. I don't need a 401k, and benefits, that's easy.
We're pretty much on our own anyway. Really, at the end of the day, I mean, I was in corporate America, and I left literally 25 years ago, and I have always felt that my future and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to have at the end really depends on me at the end of the day. You will probably do better doing your own thing than waiting for somebody else to have money for you at the end.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are finding themselves very surprised that what they worked hard for to retire for is not enough. We can plan for ourselves to have enough.
Yeah.
So.
And to be honest, I learned that helping my mom kind of maneuver through her retirement. We're seeing what she gets after working 30 plus years in the States, paying taxes and doing everything she was supposed to. And I look at what her income is, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want that for me.
So experience, like you had like this like looking glass to see what it looks like at the end to know, you know what? I'm not going that route, right? And your husband?
He also works remote from here. He does QA, and I don't think his company cares. They're like, as long as you're online and you do your work,
Yeah.
More power to you.
I think that is really beautiful. And I hope that so many people out there are listening to this to know that you can be in a better environment and live a better life and quite possibly still keep your job, earn your money. I don't know if your company was out there like hiring remote workers, but
They
have
were.
one.
So our main home office is actually out of Germany.
Okay.
And we've got main offices. There's like 4 in the States. There's some all through Latin America, all through Europe and all that. And so I figured if you guys have employees working in Mexico and Chile and Argentina, little
At
old me by
DR.
myself is not going to make a big difference.
Yeah, at the DR, maybe more people will come. That's really good. And for my businesses, I have a lot of remote workers, like a lot of remote workers. Like, our podcast team, they're in Colombia and Lithuania and Argentina and Chile. And we have people all over the place. We even have some remote folks working in the United States. And so I think at the end of the day, if you're organized and you get your work done, who cares where you are? Maybe eventually we're working from Mars. Get the job done.
Yep.
and it's all good.
Yep. And I think it also opens anyone who's looking for a remote worker to more experienced workers, not just what's in your little state or your little town or your little bubble. Now you're open to the whole world. So you may have someone who, is exactly what you needed, but just because they're not in your little state, that shouldn't limit you.
Yes. And I do find that in some cases, the remote workers are more productive. They don't get into the drama and the gossip. That's the biggest thing for me. It's like just focus on the work, get the job done. Thank you very much. And we do get to meet sometimes. I mean, some of them we're looking forward to meeting because we haven't yet, and it's been years. But for me, I think it really opened up the pool. Like being here in Punta Cana, there were years that it was like, who am I going to hire? How am I going to find somebody? Like, it's hard to do here when the community was so small. I didn't have remote workers 20 years ago, but I was always open to, who can do the job, or maybe recruiting folks to move here. And then at the end, it was like, with technology, especially with technology, the location, I think, in some cases is less critical. So
Yeah.
happy that you found that
Yep.
solution.
I took full advantage.
Yeah, full immersion. I'm not coming back. Like, let's try it for 6 months. Okay. And then it's like, can we talk? Can we have a meeting?
That's literally how it went. Was in a one-on-one with my boss. I was like, "Can we have a conversation about where I'm at?" He's like, "Oh, sure. What's up?"
I
I'm
hate
not-
those calls.
I'm like, "So I'm not going back ever."
Bad news, right? But turned into a success story because at the end of the day, it seems like they've adjusted how they work with you and you've made adjustments. And in my opinion, is better. Like, take that extra money, invest it, make it grow.
Yep.
Real estate, maybe we'll have a conversation about that later at some point. To have that conversation.
Not everything in Punta Cana is about palm trees and paradise. Sometimes it's about a little girl walking barefoot to school with the biggest smile you've ever seen. It's about a rescued puppy wagging its tail for the first time, a U.S. veteran finally getting the care he deserves, and a group of volunteers planting trees to keep this island green for the next generation. This is what we do at Punta Cana Community Care Nonprofit Foundation. We help the children, we protect the environment, we support our U.S. veterans, and we care for animals because every one of them matters. We're a small foundation with a big heart, doing real work in the communities most visitors never see. But we can't do it alone. If you have a little extra money or just a big heart, we could use your help. Every dollar makes a difference. Punta Cana Community Care, because caring is contagious.
What would you say is or was your biggest challenge moving from the U.S. to the DR?
My dogs.
Your dogs. Okay.
So we've got 2 dogs that we adopted since they were little babies. And I told them, I said, literally when we were at the shelter signing the paperwork, I literally told my husband and I told both of the dogs, and I'm like, you've got a forever home. Wherever I go, you go. If I go to Mars, you're coming. Like, we're figuring this out. And so one of the things that we said, we did a lot of thinking of how do we move them? What do we do? Because my smallest dog is 55 pounds and he's
The
blind.
smallest is
Yeah.
55 pounds.
And he's blind and diabetic. So I told him, I said, if I were to take him to the shelter, they're going to put him down. Nobody wants to put up with that. And he's silly. And then my other dog is 100 and something pounds.
What? That's a big dog. Okay, so how did you get that dog here?
It took us, honestly, probably like a month just looking up how to do it, calling different, like we called American, I called Delta, just doing a bunch of research online. And one day I just stumbled upon a website. Literally, their name is Move Pets. So I was like, okay, let's go. So I started reading kind of some of the reviews, and people are like, oh, I moved from Germany to New York and then back to London and then back to Germany and then back to New York, and they moved my dog all those times. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we had a call with them. They kind of walked us through the whole process, and they told us, well, we know where you want to fly into. It may not be doable, so we may have to kind of think outside the box to figure it out. Sure, let's go. So it took them about 3 weeks to put everything together. They came back with a proposal and said, okay, here's approximately how much it's going to cost for both dogs. This is what the process looks like. But here's the caveat. Okay, what's the caveat? They can't fly out of Texas. And they also can't fly into Punta Cana. Okay.
Okay, from where to where?
Exactly. So they're like, well, we can fly them out of Miami, and they have to fly into Santo Domingo. And I'm like, well, those are two very far places.
Yeah.
So we just said, you know what, it is what it is. Let's just book it. So once we got everything done with them, we booked our flights, and we literally, after selling both cars, rented a huge, I think it was like a minivan. We rented the minivan so we could fit all of our bags, and they had the back seat so they can stretch, and literally drove from Texas straight to Miami.
Wow. So from Texas to Miami, this is making me think of like the Beverly Hillbillies, like you just loaded everybody up, and drove to Miami.
Yep.
So you pack up, you sell the cars, you're done, everything. It's like, okay, let's go. You drive to Miami and then you catch a flight?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we were in Miami, we had to do a meet and greet with the dogs and the guy that was going to kind of get them all ready and get them on the cargo plane. And so we did that, and we had originally been told that they were going to arrive in Santo Domingo at 11:30 a.m. So I booked everything around their schedule for my husband and I. So we book our flight. We drop off the dogs at like 4 a.m. to some random lady because we had to make it to our flight, and they were going to pick them up there. Oh. While we're on our way to the airport, checking in all the bags and doing all the stuff, we keep getting messages. Oh, the flight's delayed. They're going to get there at 1:30. Oh, that's not bad. We arrive at 10:30. Gives us time to go through customs, get our bags. That's perfect. In the middle of the flight, we get another message. Well, no, they're not going to arrive till 5 p.m. Okay, I guess we'll make it work. Right after we land into Santo Domingo, we get our rental. Well, actually, now they're not going to land until about 10:30 p.m. Okay, great. So we get our rental. We meet with one of our friends. We kind of hang out with them all day. We didn't get with our dogs from 4:30 in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, about 24 hours.
Yep. And then
almost.
Yep. And then at 1-something in the morning when we get our dogs, we all get in the rental and drive straight to Punta Cana. I'm exhausted. I'm cranky. I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
And I literally told my husband, you can take a nap if you want. We fed the dogs. We stopped and fed the dogs. I'm like, they're going to be sleeping. Just let me put music on so I can stay awake. If you hear me singing, you'll deal with it. But I'm getting there.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. We didn't get to our Airbnb here in Punta Cana until about 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Was there somebody to meet you, or was it automatic? Okay.
It was an automatic check-in, which was great. But the Airbnb host sent me the wrong location.
Oh my goodness. It was like a comedy of errors. Like
it was just back to back to back to back to back. And literally, I was telling my husband while we were driving, I'm sitting here fighting tears, and I'm like, was all this worth it? Did we just do all this for nothing? Is this what it's going to be like? And he's like, it's okay. Like, we can figure this out. It's okay. We'll figure it out. So we get to the right Airbnb after a hassle trying to get someone at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
We get there. I literally park the car. I take the dogs out, and I look at my husband. I'm like, all those bags in the trunk, that's your responsibility. I'm taking my boys in. They're going to the bathroom. I'm taking a shower, and I'm going to bed.
Yep.
I'll see you in the morning.
That's it? So did he take them that night or the next day?
No, he took them out because I'm like, my PJs are somewhere in there. You're going to have to find them.
Okay, I would have been like, crash, we'll deal with it in the morning. He's good.
He was good. Yeah, he was great, honestly. He went through the bags, got my PJs, got his PJs. We got the dog settled, and I went straight to bed. He got up early in the morning, got the dogs ready, gave them breakfast, did all the stuff. And then I randomly woke up, and I'm like, okay, it's like almost 1 PM. I have to go switch this huge rental to a smaller one. I'll be back. And even then, even to get into our villa was just a hot mess. It was moving from Airbnb to Airbnb until our villa was ready. And it was, this is wrong and that is wrong. And again, I guess I got into my feelings at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, was this worth it? Is it really worth it? But now that we're in our place and we're settled, I'm like, I'll do all of that all over again to get to where we are right now, where we're settled, we're comfy, the boys feel like they're home. It's peace.
Yes. It can be challenging to get to where you need to go. Like sometimes there are those obstacles that make you wonder, did I do the right thing? Is this okay? And at the end of the day, yeah, it's not easy, the transition. It's a big transition moving from one country to the next. The culture changes, the language differences and all of that. It's not easy. Sounds like it wasn't easy for you. Being Dominican, speaking Spanish was still very much a challenge. But then at the end of the day, you said you would do it all over again. Mm-hmm. Perfect. I would too. And I had a lot of challenges too. And many people do. We work with buyers. So on the real estate side, we work with a lot of buyers. And sometimes the process is bumpy along the way. I talk about it a lot, that it can be bumpy, but then things get smoothed out and you have your barbecue in your new home, you invite your friends, and it's like you kind of forget all of that. Happy to hear that it's all worth it and you're happy to be here, although there were the challenges.
Oh, 1,000% challenges. But
yeah.
I would do it again. I mean, one thing that once we got here and we were settled, I literally turned to my husband and I was like, we spent a lot of money moving the dogs. They're not going back, which means we're not going back.
One way. That's it.
We're stuck here.
And so how are your dogs adjusting?
Oh, they love it here. They absolutely love it here. I mean, one of my dogs is blind and we're constantly fighting with him because when he's walking out, I'm like, you're going to fall in the pool.
Yeah.
Don't fall in the pool. But they love it here. I mean, they go in and out 5,000 times a day.
Yeah.
So
and your dog hasn't fallen in the pool?
No.
Your dog probably won't fall in the pool.
He almost did once. He
really?
got like his half from like his waist up was in the pool.
Really?
Yeah, and luckily I had him on the leash because he's still kind of figuring out the backyard out. I had him on the leash. My husband was in the pool, and I was paying attention to my other dog, and he was falling into the pool. So my husband was like, oh my God. He had to rescue him out, but he was fine.
But can't dogs swim?
They can. I'm just afraid of him hurting himself.
Yeah.
If he can figure out where it is and he can figure out where the steps are and he could get in, I don't care. Like, more power to you. You want to enjoy your life too? Enjoy the island life if that's what you want. But I'm just more afraid of him getting hurt just because in DR, with us having 2 large dogs, a lot of people aren't used to large dogs. So when we take them to the vet, you can tell they're kind of skittish. And I'm like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, they're just huge, but they're babies. They're just big boys.
Mm. Yeah, the vets will probably get used to them, though. Depending on where you go, there's some that are really... we actually had... Fanatica, I don't know if you go there, but he used to work with exotic creatures like stingrays and
oh my God.
Like alligators or something like that, like animals that are not domestic animals. So I bet he'd look at
That's
those
crazy.
big dogs like
That's crazy.
Little babies.
Well, like the vet that we take my blind dog to, he's in Santo Domingo. He's great.
Oh, okay.
He's patient with him because I'm like, he's just skittish because he hears everything.
Yes.
He smells everything. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yes.
But he's very patient with him. He's been great, thankfully. And then my big dog, it's even funny. We see the construction workers on our house or on the areas around us, and they see my big dog outside, and they'll cross the street, walk, and then cross back once they're past our property.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, if that makes you happy, that's fine.
Well, your dog could probably do some damage if he wanted to. I mean...
I'm sure he could. I'm sure he could.
People don't know, they don't know. It's your baby,
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Don't test the waters.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that. But I mean, he barks, and when it echoes, if he's on the steps, he turns around, he's like, and I tell him, Jake, that was you, sweetie. You have a big bark. You're a big boy. That was you.
Even his own bark is like, whoa, that's a big voice. That's cute.
But he thinks he's a chihuahua, so he tries to sit on your lap. And I'm like, dude, you weigh almost as much as I do. Please get off.
Yeah. I bet that makes for exciting movie nights with everybody on the couch.
We get up sometimes. Well, I wake him up and I'm like, I can't move. Can you help me? Because he's laying across me. And I'm like, I literally cannot move. Please move.
That's cute.
What if your next investment placed you in the heart of nature, where mountains, waterfalls, and opportunity came together? Welcome to Legacy Beaches, a premier development in the Dominican Republic. Set against breathtaking mountains, waterfalls, just minutes from the beach, this high-growth area is attracting major investors. Secure premium land lots now with significant appreciation potential in just 30 months. Own a piece of this paradise. Invest in Legacy Beaches today. Click the link in the description to learn more.
So, Rain, now that you've been here about 7 months, I know that Mom was not really excited about the move. Like, what are you doing? And she's been here, obviously. What is she saying these days?
She is constantly just telling me, I think you made the best decision for you guys. You guys seem happier.
Okay.
And now she tells me, I can't wait to move back home.
What?
She's got a place in Santiago that just sits there. And so now she's like, well, now that you're there, maybe I'll finish everything I need to do and get my place paid off and move to Santiago. And I'm like, girl, it's the best decision you'll ever make.
Wow.
So now she's all like on board for being here.
Okay. And you said that she was a single mom growing up. How was that? And you're the baby,
Yes.
right? You're the baby.
Yeah, it was hard for her. I mean, she moved to the States not knowing the language, literally only moved and rented an apartment from someone my uncle knew because he was already in the States. So she had to learn the language, figure out a whole new world, essentially, because it was night and day moving from DR there. And then not knowing where anything is, not having anyone. So for her, it was really hard. But once she kind of got her feet wet and got settled, started, making more money, working multiple jobs to make ends meet.
Really?
Yeah, she worked at least 3 to 4 jobs my entire childhood.
3 to 4 at a time?
Yes.
Wow. How did that work?
Oh, it was hard for her. I mean, she was maybe home 2 to 3 hours a day. And in those 2 to 3 hours, she would pick a room to deep clean. She would do laundry and cook so that when we got up, she would always leave us breakfast on the table. Everyone was labeled, so we all had breakfast. And then in the fridge, she would leave lunch for when we got home from school. While we were in school, between jobs, she'd come home, make dinner, leave it there, and go back to another job. And then she would come home, sleep, shower, get ready for the next day, do it all over again, just a never-ending cycle. So as we all got older, we all decided to take on responsibilities to help her. It was a lot to see my mom go through that, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I decided I wanted more for myself.
Yes.
Which is why I put myself through college. I mean, it was a struggle, but I did it by myself. I got multiple degrees because I said, I see what you've done, now let me grow on that, so when I get to the point where I want to be, I can help you.
And
I
I'm
do.
sure you do that.
We all do. So all of us, now that my mom's retired, we all kind of take different things. So one person pays her life insurance policy, one person pays her light and her water bill, one person pays her cable bill, I pay the cell phone in. I help her manage her finances. So we all kind of take a little bit off of her because we've seen so much that she's done, and we've all chosen a career and stuck with it.
Wow. Sounds like it's a real blessing for everybody, for all of you, as well as her, because, there are a lot of stories like that, but the children don't always all come through for Mom, who made those sacrifices. So it's incredible to hear that you took it all on yourselves to be responsible, it sounds like. So you put yourself through college with multiple degrees. What are those degrees? Accounting?
So I have an associate's and a bachelor's in accounting with a background in business finance and a very, very tiny minor in psychology.
Tiny minor in psychology?
It's just interesting.
Okay.
So I've got some credits in psychology. I think if I go back and do a couple more classes, I can maybe get an associate's in psychology. But
So talking about relationships in your family, you have an interesting story about your husband too.
Yep.
Tell us.
So we met in school. I was 12 and he was 13.
Okay, wait a minute. You were 12 years old and you've been together your whole life. My daughter is 12. I can't imagine some of those snotty-nosed 13-year-old boys. Look, this is my dad coming out of me. But you were 12?
Yeah, we were 12 and 13. We became friends. And the older we got, we kind of just evolved into being best friends.
Oh, okay.
And so it didn't matter whether I moved away or he moved. And then when I went to college and he kind of just started working right after high school, we still kept a very close relationship where we talked every day. I mean, I was in a relationship, he was in a relationship, but we were the person that we went to complain about the person we were with and to get advice.
Right.
And so towards the end of my college years, I was single, he was single, and he just kind of called me one day. He was just at least I thought he was joking around. We were talking and he's like, we've known each other for like X amount of years by now. We should just really get together. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, for real. Yeah, okay, whatever. I thought he was joking. A couple months down the line, or I think actually a couple weeks down the line, I get a phone call from a family member. Hey, your godmom's not doing well. You have to come back home. Perfect. So I go back and I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm going to be back home for some time. I don't know how long I'm going to be there. Let's hang out. But I'm thinking we're going to hang out as friends because I thought he was joking. I show up to his place and he gives me a hug and whatever. And he introduced me to his mom of, oh, this is my girlfriend. And I'm like, what? Yeah, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, well, I asked you to be my girlfriend X amount of weeks ago. What do you mean? And I'm like, oh, you were for real? Yeah, I was for real. All right. I guess this is it. So that happened.
So was it really like that? Was it like, okay.
It was interesting because we knew that we liked each other, but I wasn't going to be the one to pull the trigger. So I'm like, it's because I always told him, I'm like, look, if you don't want to be with me, that's absolutely fine. Like, I'll be your friend and it's cool and we'll just be friends. But I'm like, it's up to you. Like, you've got to figure out your life because he was, enjoying life while I was trying to squeeze in as much enjoyment of life, but also be responsible in school. So it was like two completely different lifestyles. So that's why I was like, if we can meet somewhere in the middle, we can kind of make this work, but you got to figure out yourself. So we went, that happened. The next day, he tells me, oh, we're going to my grandma's house. We're just going to go visit. Okay, we're just going to go meet your grandma. That's cool. He didn't tell me that it was his grandma's birthday, and his entire family was there. Mm-hmm. I met like 60-something people in one day.
There were ulterior motives. He had a plan.
He definitely had a plan.
I think he had a plan.
He definitely had a plan.
Let's just go to grandma's house and meet the whole family.
Literally, his whole extended cousins and their kids. And I'm like, thanks for throwing me to the wolves. Thanks. But I mean, now I look at it and I'm like, I guess it all worked out. I mean, I loved his grandma before she passed. She was amazing. Oh. His family, accepted me with open arms. I mean, they're all in different walks and everyone looks so different. So, which was something I was worried about, but they accepted me with open arms. Yeah. And till this day, he jokes with his parents that if we get in an argument, they pick my side. And I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of course. So it was meant to be.
I feel like it was. I mean, somehow, even if we lost, connection for a short period of time, if one of us changed their number, we somehow found a way to get a hold of one another to kind of start the friendship all over again. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter whether he had a girlfriend or I had a boyfriend or whatever it was that was going on, we always found our way back to one another. So it definitely does feel like when we met when we were kids, it was meant to be.
Yes. And it's really good that you had those other experiences as well, because then you can be more sure. And you never have to say, well, what if, or I didn't know, and this and that, but you were just always there for each other. Like you kept finding each other. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And now, forever and ever, and that's it.
I tell him all the time, you're stuck with me now.
Yeah, that's it. You're stuck.
She's stuck.
I love that. You're both stuck.
I guess
in Punta Cana.
this is where we are now.
Yes, yes. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to have him on the Punta Cana podcast to tell his version of the story.
I'd be interested in knowing.
Yeah, tell his expat story and how everything came together. That's really nice. So as a part of the show, we always take a question from one of our subscribers.
Okay.
So pick one of these questions and I will ask you.
Okay.
Pick a good one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What do you miss about your life before leaving the States?
What do I miss about my life before leaving the States? That's a really good question, actually. Honestly, what I would say is I don't miss that much other than very things that just seem so tiny now. Like, for example, if you tell someone, hey, I need you to come do X, Y, and Z in the house, I'll be there at 10. In the States, they'll be there at 9:50, knocking on your door, ready to go at 10. Here, it's like 10 today, tomorrow, next week, next month.
AM, PM.
Exactly. That and the driving. Mm-hmm. Where it feels like driving laws here are just not even a suggestion.
Maybe it's just an idea.
Yeah, sometimes it's just it feels like they're like, yeah, the government just made that. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
no rules.
You're on a two-lane street and you turn around and you're like, how did we make 16 lanes in this? How did we get here? I mean, honestly, it's just those two and knowing that you have to have buckets and buckets of patience.
Yes.
Throughout the process, where in the States you think, oh, I bought a house, I signed the paperwork, I move tomorrow. Or I'm renting a place, I sign the paperwork, I get the lease, I move tomorrow. Where here, there's so many other little steps that we have to, as expats, understand that the process here is different than back home. And so we're adapting to their ways, not they're adapting to our ways.
Yes.
So,
and not just patience or a bucket of patience, but buckets and buckets.
And buckets.
And buckets.
And maybe just a couple more little buckets around.
Some extra buckets.
Just in case. Yeah, I mean, just having that and knowing that everything's not going to be perfect day one. It's going to take some time. So accepting that, it's going to be hard at first, it's going to take some time, but you'll get there.
Yes.
It's not as easy as everyone thinks. I mean, we all make it seem easy, like, oh, hey, I'm moving, and the next video is, hey, I'm here.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes on.
Yes.
So understanding that it's going to take some time and to be patient and to remember to change to acclimate to the way things are here and not vice versa will change everything.
Yeah. I love that. And I would really want to drop the mic on that advice. And I think that is really, really great advice. It's never easy. Change is not easy. You're changing your routine. You're changing cultures, language, all that we've already talked about. All of that is changing. So it's going to feel uncomfortable at times. 10 o'clock is not 10 o'clock.
It's not.
It is at some point in the future. Sometimes it's like, I'll see you when I see you. And we have to really prepare for that. One thing that I've noticed, though, is that with so many expats and foreigners coming here, that is getting a little bit better. Like, you're an on-time person, prompt person. Europeans are on-time people. Dominicans are just free spirits for the most part. And sometimes I laugh that I think that's why I've really adapted so good to being here, because, yeah, there's something that attracted me here.
And I mean, like you said, it's a lot of change, and so it's hard to say, oh, this one thing has changed, or this is what I miss the most. There's so many little things, but when you look back, you're like, they're so irrelevant and so tiny and so unimportant.
Yes.
Once you're here and settled, where you're like, I can deal with all that. Now that I'm here,
Yes.
let's go.
Yeah. Actually, when you make the comparison, it's like Punta Cana still drastically outweighs the
Absolutely.
alternative. Nowhere is perfect.
Absolutely, 1,000%. But if I had to choose, go back to New York, where I was raised, go back to Rhode Island, where I went to school, go back to Texas, where I lived for so many years, or Punta Cana, I'll still pick here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rain, for being a part of this episode of the Punta Cana Podcast and telling your story.
Well, thank you for having me, Cheryl. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you.
Yeah. And thank all of you for being a part of this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.